Dear Diary, well, I guess not really, because I'm currently spending my last days of February packing and preparing to spend March in Asia for the first time, which has been quite the adventure already.
And honestly, I'm excited, but the process to get there has been busy.
But those adventures start in next week's video, because since I'll be traveling all of March, I spent February still maintaining my workout routine and commitment to running so I can be ready for some international outdoor running, hopefully in warmer weather.
Did I run my 5 miles today? My long run? Yes, I did. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely not. That was the worst run. I have to pee, but I did it.
And getting my business together as a solo traveling entrepreneur, which I'm a little nervous about balancing it all while abroad. Every day has been an opportunity to learn new skills and set new goals as a solo entrepreneur. And yes, learning is tiring, yet exhilarating, and requires me to grow as a creator. But I gotta do it because this is what I asked for when I quit my 9-to-5. So let's get to it.
Good morning and welcome to February. As you can see, I am out of my room. I am out of the house and at a cafe. I'm at Wantable Cafe here in Milwaukee. It's on the south side in the Walker's Point neighborhood, and it's one of my favorite places to come co-working and get out of the house because it has everything you need. I was here last week. I'm back this week. It's definitely a favorite when I'm in town. So if you're ever in Milwaukee, definitely come check it out. I also love Wantable because they have these little pods that you can see I am sitting in right now. These are really great if you're working remote, if you're an entrepreneur, even if you work a 9-to-5 and you have a meeting to come to, you can actually rent these out for $10 an hour. They used to be free when they first opened, but people got to make their money. So now they are $10 an hour, but they're really nice pods. They're very insulated. Obviously you have like some natural light coming through here. I also love the cafe. I got my favorite tea by them that I get here, which is a blueberry hibiscus tea. So if you need some snacks throughout the day, I think it's also pretty reasonably priced for cafe food nowadays. So I love it. I'm here often when I am in the city, and it's definitely one of my favorite spots to pop into. So I am here early. It is 8:15. So I am up and out today. And before I get started working, I did want to kind of share some of my goals because I realized last month I was overwhelmed just in general trying to adjust to a whole new lifestyle, but also because I didn't do my normal goal setting that I would do at the beginning of the year. I know people say that technically the year can start in March and whatnot, but I don't think it's ever too late, whether it's January, February, March, November, to have a goal. So I wanted to share 3 of the ones that I am kind of focusing on right now. And of course, there'll probably be more that I'll reveal as I continue to learn as an entrepreneur. So the first one is finding a new hobby because I have monetized my hobby being a travel creator and vlogger. I've shared in previous videos that I love junk journaling, and that's definitely one of the hobbies I enjoy doing on my own, but I'm also trying to find other hobbies to do in community with other people. I think one of the biggest adjustments has been not having coworkers, which I love my solitude, and also it's just weird not having people around every now and again. So definitely want to make sure that I don't work in isolation, also have my hobbies in isolation. So I would love to do like a pottery class or like a pottery class series. I'm looking at like painting classes, and I low-key want to learn how to make kombucha from scratch. I love kombucha. So yeah, I don't know if any of those things are like a thing I can do in Milwaukee, but even as I'm traveling throughout the year, I want to make sure that I'm finding some non-technology, more crafty things to do, because I am a pretty crafty person, to balance out being a full-time travel vlogger. My second goal is to switch my video editing software over from Final Cut Pro to Adobe Premiere Pro. You all as the viewers may not know, but I've been using Final Cut Pro since I started the channel back in 2021, and that was my first like big girl video editing purchase. And now I'm trying to level up as a creator. So I've been enrolled in the free YouTube University trying to figure out how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, and I think I'm kind of getting the hang of it. The thing with video editing software is that they're pretty similar. However, I do think in the future I may want to take a formal like class on it and learn online via Coursera or Skillshare or something like that. But definitely if I want to grow and level up as a video editor and a video creator, I want to be sure that I'm using really good technology. And even though Final Cut is great, no harm against Final Cut, it's great for long form and short form content. Some of my favorite vloggers here on YouTube use Adobe Premiere Pro, and I kind of like their editing style, and some of the things that they do you can't really do in Final Cut. So really it's about leveling up and kind of learning another new skill with video editing this year. And the third goal is getting my revenue streams up. Last month I talked about my kind of issues and challenges with brand partnerships, which are still kind of in process. There are definitely more opportunities coming in, but there are some other revenue streams I need to focus on, like primarily getting my group trips launched. Now, I will say it is a bit intimidating. I don't know if people know this, but a lot of your favorite travel influencers partner with travel companies who kind of do all the back end work and kind of create the itinerary, and they work with the influencer to create the itinerary too. And then that's how they kind of launch them and promote them to you. But I am a one-woman show right now. I don't have the money to pay for anyone to kind of run my group trips for me or even to help me set it up for real. And a lot of those travel companies don't actually focus on train trips. I'm definitely filling a gap in the market, but I, Sojourner, have to fill that gap all on my own. And my little Virgo perfectionism tendencies are definitely coming out in this process. And so I just need to launch. I need to launch one group trip at a time. I thought I could launch multiple, but that's obviously not within my bandwidth. So with this goal, I need to just kind of do it. Stop trying to be perfect. It's going to be my first group trip, which means there are going to be things that are going to happen that are out of my control that maybe I miss. But I've been talking to some friends of mine who also run group trips, and I'm really excited for the possibility of launching my own sometime this spring, winter. But you all will be the first to know because I will post it over here on the page. And kind of with that too is to get my Fora travel advising platform all set up too. That's more trip planning, more one-on-one small group trips for other people, but I do want to finish that because I started it but was not able to finish it last year. So that is another goal to add to the group trip revenue stream process as well. So yes, those are the 3 goals I'm focusing on for the quarter. I think making goals quarter by quarter is a bit more realistic for me just because entrepreneurship is very unpredictable. This world is very unpredictable, and taking it quarter by quarter and even breaking it down month by month later on in the year may be the best for me, just to kind of phase myself into it and not feel so overwhelmed. I'm also reminded myself of the SMART goals I used to do a lot when I worked in research. We used to work with folks all the time and say your goals had to be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. And so I'm kind of keeping that in the back of my mind as I'm thinking about my own goals and what that means for me as an entrepreneur. So yes, I'm going to enjoy my blueberry hibiscus. This is also a reishi tea, which is why it's so good. If you know tea, you know reishi is really good. So yes, I'm going to drink my tea, do a little more work in the cubicle. I think I have like 20 more minutes in here to kind of do some work, and I will check back in with y'all later on.
And When I say I spent the month learning, I truly meant it. From watching video editing tutorials on Adobe's YouTube channel to going through my 4 certification process. I felt like I was in grad school for travel entrepreneurship, which has been kind of intense, to be honest. As much as I am open to learning, I think I underestimated just how much I had to learn and how long learning different skills like travel agent planning and video editing takes. I also sent out pitches to possible brands with my new and improved media kit in the hopes that something will land soonish. I've been really honing in on my pitching skills and learning how to do it strategically. Pitching has been better for sure, but it's going to take some time to refine those skills. Unlike last month, I was less frustrated with putting myself out there and not hearing back. This month it was more anxious, wondering if I asked too much or too little from the pitches I did send out and negotiating my offers.
I've been doing a lot of pitching and not landing, so I may have to pitch more. I don't know.
And wondering how much I needed to be pitching as an entrepreneur. As someone who tends to overthink, which could be from what I call the overachieving responsible daughter syndrome, or being a Virgo, or both, I was feeling very pensive and reflective as the month went on.
Hello, friends. Hello, beautiful people. It is the expectations versus reality portion of the video. I have a Be Clear, which if you're in Milwaukee, it is a Black-owned alkaline water brand. So get into it. I wanted to talk about some expectations versus reality that I've been feeling through on month 2 of being a full-time travel entrepreneur. And I think the first one is just that things will get canceled. Like, I knew it was a reality, but you have the expectation that things won't get canceled. And by things, I mean opportunities. Not even canceled. Like, I got ghosted this month and it definitely doesn't feel good. Let's drink some water to that. I have been asked to go on a press trip to Jamaica as a travel journalist, and I responded to a request that was made and I never heard back. So I thought I'd be in Jamaica for like a week this month, and instead I was freezing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is fine. I got a lot of work done and I am planning to be gone for all of March and into April. So everything worked out, but I think the expectation that people, like, if they asked me to do something as a creator, that like they would follow through or like just let me know that it wasn't an opportunity. So yeah, getting ghosted, don't recommend it. I think one expectation I had before I quit my 9 to 5 was also that everything would make time for itself, if that makes sense. I think when I was at my 9 to 5, it just felt like I had no time to be the travel entrepreneur I knew I wanted to be. And now that I am a full-time travel entrepreneur, there never seemed to be enough hours in the day to get stuff done. And even though I have more time now than I would at my 9 to 5, there's still like more things to do that weren't really a thing when I was working my 9 to 5. Like, I'm doing way more admin work on my computer and sending out invoices and doing all these like little tasks that I did when I was working a 9 to 5 and working on Sojournies. But now, since there's more things, more opportunities, means there's more paperwork, which is a blessing. And also, I'm tired of filling out the same W-9s, So yeah, I think one thing I need to kind of recognize as a reality for me is that I need better systems in place as an entrepreneur. I'm doing a lot of things multiple times that I feel like could be solved. Not necessarily with a person, though having an assistant would be nice one day. But I think more of me just creating systems for myself as an entrepreneur to send out invoices, to send out paperwork, all that good stuff. And I think the last expectation that is more of a continuous process is just understanding that not everything is going to come easy to me. As someone who was very studious, aspired to be a 4.0 honor roll student, was on the dean's list as I was in school. Entrepreneurship is school, but also it's very uncertain, right? There's a lot of parts that are kind of, you just do it, right? You don't really think about it. There's no book to read about it before you do it. And as someone who is very much a bookworm, if you couldn't tell from my little, oh wait, you can't see it. my bookshelf over here. I have books all over my room, in my house. I can't read my way into entrepreneurship, if that makes sense. And I think I had the expectation that there would be some things I could read and kind of learn, right? And there's a lot of books about entrepreneurship out there, but a lot of what I'm doing, what I'm building, especially a travel business built around train travel, is that there is no other model for what I'm trying to create. There are similar models, but there's nobody I can identify and say, yeah, I want to do exactly what they're doing, because I want to do pieces of things that I'm seeing other folks in my industry doing, but I want to do them in my own way. And I think I've been so accustomed to having like a model of like, yeah, that's it, that now I'm creating that model and I have other folks telling me I'm their model, which is wild. So I think that expectation of like, you're not gonna know everything all the time, which as a Virgo kills my little heart. Y'all know we love to know everything. I think understanding that, yeah, expectation was that I was gonna just jump into this and know what to do. And the reality is like, girl, no, like this is not something you can read your way into. Like I have to feel through being an entrepreneur. I have to trial and error being an entrepreneur. That means some reels I post on Instagram may flop, right? My audience may not like them, but I need to be testing my audience more and like seeing what kind of content y'all want from me and make sure I'm answering your questions, but also staying true to who I am. But I think overall, the reality is that there's so many ebbs and flows in this business that it's not like academia, it's not even like research, and it's not like my 9 to 5. And even though I'm not in that space anymore, sometimes I feel like I'm still holding on to what the norm over there was, and now I'm over here, and that's not the norm. Just wrestling with that reality and adjusting my mindset to do that has been something I've been processing this month. And at the end of the day, y'all know I got my reminders that I mentioned last month here. I'm that girl, don't take it personal, and this is just the beginning. It's been a great month, lots of really cool opportunities coming down the pipeline that I can't wait to share with y'all. But right now, I need to edit some videos, take off this wig. Okay, I've been filming today, but the head needs to breathe. Yeah, I will see y'all when I see y'all, and I can't wait to show you what I got cooking.
I feel like it's really easy to be hard on yourself as a solo entrepreneur, and I have to remind myself to engage in positive self-talk and focus on the beauty of new opportunities, like speaking about video content creation at the Travel Blogging Summit. The organizer, Laura, said my session generated so much excitement, so it felt good to share my experience and knowledge here on YouTube as a video creator.
Hope y'all are ready. I'm really excited to chat. Presentation in 4 parts. First one is kind of going over, if you're not familiar with video content, the different types of video content. Then we'll talk about, of course, how do you create video content? And the most important part is 4, which is posting your content. I think a lot of creators do all this research, create all these things, get all these clips, and like nothing happens with it. But we want to make sure that once you go through all these steps, you're able to then post the content.
This was definitely a hunker down and lock in month, but I'm not mad at it. In the midst of learning how to use Adobe and group trip planning, which is still TBD, I visited new cafes like Dream Lab, also on the south side of Milwaukee. And I did officially finish my FORA travel advising work, so now I'm FORA certified. Oh, and as far as the goal of finding hobbies, while I didn't get to pottery or painting this month, I did attend a wine tasting class with MKE Wine Academy hosted by Hyphen at Radio Milwaukee downtown. I hadn't been in almost a year, and it was good to be back to learn more about what types of wine I like and celebrate Black winemakers.
Yeah, it smells like cherries.
There's definitely chocolate going on.
Oh, chocolatey. Not toxic wine. It smells like a toxic man.
I think his name.
It was extremely cold and snowy in Milwaukee this month, so I was in full hibernation mode up until this point, but hanging out and wine tasting and laughing in the process was so needed. I think as a solo entrepreneur, it is easy for me to be in my own head all day, every day. So whether I'm at home or traveling more long term, I'm hoping that I can continue to find communal hobbies and activities to balance out my solo Virgo overthinking time. And I used to live in Spanish wine country, so I gotta show what I know.
Okay, this one actually isn't that bad.
I want to sit and talk about a book.
I kind of like it.
My quest for non-travel related hobbies and finding more work-life balance as a solopreneur also led to wonderfully curated art exhibits, something I used to enjoy a lot as a kid who grew up in art schools. So I took a little day train trip to Chicago to see Project A Black Planet at the Art Institute of Chicago. I've been to the city many times, but never to the Art Institute, and this exhibit was amazing and highlighted Pan-Africanism, Black cultural expression, and Black social movements over time. And if that wasn't enough, I even explored an art exhibit back home here in Milwaukee too. I was gonna go home, but a friend who I used to work with said there's a cool art exhibit here in the city, and she invited me to go see it with her, so we're gonna go check it out. Going to all these exhibits reminded me of being in elementary school and a junior docent at the Milwaukee Art Museum, so when my friend Billy let me know about the Benny Andrews exhibit at the Ruth Foundation for the Arts, I said yes immediately. It's always nice to be surrounded by artists and creative people who see the world from different and unique angles, literally. I love learning about Benny Andrews' interpretations of what it means to be quote unquote in trouble and how he blended his art with social justice activism through working with people who are incarcerated. And as a digital storyteller, I love learning about Kinfoca, a Black genealogy platform encouraging Black Americans to do legacy planning through archival research and oral history. Unexpected and free events with good food, good wine, and good company like this are just what I needed this month. So diary, life has a funny way of giving us the things we wanted or prayed for, and when that prayer is answered, everything just doesn't magically get better or even make sense. Sometimes new challenges arise that are opportunities for growth and evolution, and of course lots of learning and overthinking. But as I always say with train travel, the journey is just as important as the destination. We're going to Japan!
Hey, it's lit. It's in motion.
And this journey is leading me into some exciting new territories.
I look at absolute best today. It's literally a snowstorm outside in Milwaukee, and you can't tell. I swore I would never cry on camera, but I've been crying because I got nominated for my first travel award as a trailblazer. Need it, but mind you, this was the first conference I went to as in general as a travel creator, and it was in 2023, and at the time I did not plan on quitting my job the next year. That wasn't a thing, and then it was, and now I'm back. And I'm speaking here too, by the way. I'm overwhelmed with joy. Y'all see me trying not to cry.
So stay tuned to see what's next in store because I have a feeling the best is yet to come.